Up now, we have Derek Capo, who's the CEO of TokenPay, talking about Litecoin, TokenPay ecosystem, and why a bank. Can you please give him a very warm welcome to the stage?
Hello, everyone. You guys can hear me, right? Do we have the presentation? Yeah, great. So how many of you guys actually have heard of TokenPay? Raise your hands. Wow, it's actually pretty good. My next question usually after that is, have you guys ever heard of Pornhub? How many, and all the people that don't raise their hands, you guys are all lying. Actually, if it wasn't for Pornhub and Verge, there's no reason or no way that we would be here today. Actually, does anybody know how exactly we kind of got this whole partnership started? Anybody? Well, like normal, I had a fight with Charlie on Twitter, and we went back and forth, and basically I kind of gave him an idea of what we were doing and what we've been executing on. And he really liked everything, and here we are today. So what I'm going to do today is actually going to talk about our vision, what we're doing. Everything that we're doing is part of this major ecosystem that we're building, and everything will benefit Litecoin, okay? So we did a token sale about December of 2017, did about 2,000 Bitcoin around that time. And with that, we've been able to do a lot of initiatives, bought stakes in banks, TokenSuisse Swiss AG bought a stake in a bank, and then gave it to Litecoin. I will talk about all of that at the end of the presentation, explaining why a bank. Now, before I get in, I'll kind of give you a little bit of my background. It's actually pretty interesting. Born and raised in Miami, kind of like Mike. Pretty international mindset. We saw a lot of stuff happening in Miami. Immigrant families, father from Cuba, mom from Spain. And worked at a hedge fund for about 4 years. So I saw it happen from 2004 to 2007, more or less. I saw what was going on in the US. And we all in the hedge fund world knew that the US economy was going to have a problem. We all saw it coming, just didn't know when, what month, what year, but we all saw it coming. And when all that started happening, I decided, you know what, I'm going to leave. I left in June of 2007, and I actually moved to China. Went there, studied Chinese, and lived there for about 8 years. Started a business to help foreigners go to China, study Chinese. After that, closed it down, and then eventually joined the Chinese startup, which is robotics education, teach kids how to code and build robots. I actually got exposed to Bitcoin in about 2011 or 12, when actually merchants inside Beijing were actually accepting Bitcoin. Little did I not know is that one of the largest mining companies was starting to be formed right before my eyes, and I didn't even notice. And what I saw in China is something that I'm going to see, what we're going to all see in this world. China, believe it or not, is the future. It's hard to believe. How many of you guys have actually been to China? Okay, by the end of this year, next year, you guys should all go there. It really is the future. What I saw in China was, in 2008, everybody paying in cash. 2 years later, everybody was paying with debit cards. By the time WeChat came around, everybody was paying electronically. Does anybody know exactly how WeChat how WeChat got really popular in China? Anybody? Games, more or less. It was actually in the Chinese New Year, they had this promotion where if you shake your phone, you would get free money. Everybody likes free money, right? So they did that, and all of a sudden they had millions of users overnight. But guess what they started doing? They started building apps and adding more apps, and they became this centralized force where if you cannot survive without WeChat in China. I believe that a lot of this is going to start happening with crypto. There is, believe it or not, too much decentralization of apps right now. We have way too many. So part of our vision is to start putting this all together. And this is kind of where it all starts. We believe a bank is really the best broker or the best ability to increase this liquidity. Everybody talks about liquidity exchanges. The reality is the banking infrastructure is that liquidity. You need to go from the old world to the new world. And having that bank infrastructure is extremely important. And that's something that Charlie Lee believed in. That's why we did this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about what's happening with us, what our blockchain is. Some people don't even know what we are or what we're doing. Some people believe that we are an ERC20 coin. We're not. I'm actually anti-ERC20. For other reasons. But I'll just give you an idea of what it is that we have today, what our vision is, and how that's all going to benefit Litecoin. So a little bit about our team. We have people from all over the world. We have a team in the USA. It's actually me and a couple other people. We have teams in the Philippines. My business partner in China is from the Philippines, so that's how I actually got comfortable with working with the Philippines. We have about 2 teams in Costa Rica, one for a gaming division and one for our exchanges. And then we have a huge team now being built in Romania. Romania is a fantastic location for tech talent. I've been dealing with Romanians for about 8 years, And we just opened up our headquarters in the center of Bucharest. We're actually opening up our new office next week. So our blockchain. Charlie Lee mentioned a lot of interesting facts yesterday about the blockchain and how it's going to cost $150 million to actually attack at 51%. Well, we decided to do a different route. We decided to use an easier blockchain, or much easier for anybody to really adopt and start using, called proof of stake. How many of you guys actually understand what proof of stake is? It's okay, it's what I expected. So as you guys know, proof of work requires a lot of miners, and all those miners are either usually in Russia, China, et cetera. And there is some level of centralization when you have a proof of work algorithm. With proof of stake, basically all you need is a laptop. Open up a laptop, download the wallet, and you can start staking or mining coins. So the way it works is you get 5% of whatever the coins you have in your wallet you get by the end of the year. So how does this work? At the end of the day, there is no centralization. There is no miners. So the person who has the most coins technically wins. But nobody will ever sell more than 51% or buy 51% of the blockchain, because if they do, the blockchain basically dies. So the beautiful thing about proof of stake, energy efficient, much easier to spread adoption, and very, very cheap. And I'll go in a couple slides explaining why. So for example, with the proof of stake, you can get a Raspberry Pi, which is about $35, hook it up, make a node, and basically start staking. If you have a few thousand coins, you get 5% a year, you get that back extremely fast. An ASIC miner can cost thousands of dollars, and you'll be beholden to the cost of what graphics cards are with NVIDIA. That's a big problem. So yes, proof of work has a cost structure. It's also very bad for the environment, right? I mean, you're spending a lot of energy on stuff that really, at the end of the day, you don't really need. So I think that's why Ethereum is moving over to proof of stake. There's a reason why this is happening. It's because it's very energy efficient. So our blockchain is actually really, really young. We have about 364,000 transactions, but actually transactions excluding empty blocks is about 64,000. Our block time is about 60 minutes, and we'll probably expand it between 60 seconds to 2 minutes, so that we don't have any of these orphan blocks, which is very normal in the blockchain world for all those that know. We have about 27,000 addresses that are actually active. In fact, about 130,000 people participated in our token sale. It was 27,000 people that actually purchased. About 40-something% of that was in Japan. About 20-something% was in Korea, and the rest was China, India, UK, pretty much in that order. We did not do anything to the US. We actually refunded the Americans that actually participated. So let me show you what it looks like, a blockchain when it's born. If you look at this slide, you'll see this first spike. That's usually the pre-mine. Did a pre-mine about 70-something%. 25% of that is allocated for proof of stake rewards. That big spike that you see there is when we started distributing the coins to people who, on time, actually sent us their wallet address. The rest of the big spikes there is that we kept on sending coins to people. And as you can see, you're starting to stabilize because we're starting to increase more and more usage of the actual coin. The reality is 90-something% of our transactions are still based on exchanges and trading. That's the reality. We haven't built all of our infrastructure yet. But we have about 50, maybe something merchants right now that are starting to accept TokenPay. But we don't know exactly how much of TokenPay was actually used. It's really hard to know right now. But when we have our merchant system, we'll be able to track it, and every month we'll be able to show that report to show the adoption of what's going on. So what makes our blockchain so special? So we have ring signatures, we have secure communication. You can actually chat within our actual full node wallet, dual key stealth addresses, zero knowledge proof, multi-signature, and every transaction that we have right now is integrated with a Tor network. This is what is called a privacy coin. I believe in a privacy coin. I believe that it's okay to have money stashed under your mattress and nobody know about it. Okay? Give you a quick story. My grandfather always told me about always making sure you have enough money so that you can always pay the bank if you ever had to, especially when times were tough. And he always says, you know what? It's always good to leave some stuff on the mattress because you should never be late paying the bank. He started a business in 1967 with $10,000 of a small business administration loan, and today it's about $225 million revenue business in the United States. I've been doing business since I was 13 years old. I saw my family build a business from nothing to being one of the largest in the country. And seeing that, I saw all the struggles. I saw the financial struggles. I saw what it was to take and build a business. The difference was as I went to China, I built it abroad. That's the major difference between how I built stuff and how they build it. But at the end of the day, we all have a common goal. What is right for the customers? What do they want? and how can we make sure that they're happy and they can get it fast as possible. One of the only furniture stores in America actually had same-day delivery, which is unheard of in furniture. So what is kind of our mantra? What is our thought process to doing all of this? We believe in having strong partnerships, services, and infrastructure. Of course, Litecoin is definitely a major part of that. So here's our vision. We have essentially 3 divisions: financial, people, entertainment, and branding. Let's talk about the financial division. So the financial division basically consists of merchant services, EFIN, TOKENSUISSE, and Escrow. So TokenPay Merchants is essentially a platform that's going to come out 4th quarter of this year to make it extremely easy for merchants all over the world to be able to accept crypto. I know you've heard from a lot of merchants. The truth is we are catching up, but there's part of this that's going to be what's more integral to all of this. What's happening is you have too many of these companies that are doing one thing and one thing only, and that's fine. But what ends up happening is you need to have a momentum to get it all together, just like WeChat. If anything, we're trying to model our business and our infrastructure just like WeChat, to try to centralize and try to focus as much as possible into this wallet and merchant services integration. So we have a video here. You guys take a few minutes to look at it. So when a merchant goes into our platform, over time, the merchant will have 4 options in how they accept crypto. They receive crypto directly to their wallet, option 1. Option 2, they select the crypto that they want to accept into their wallet, will automatically convert it to the crypto of their choice. That's option 2. But they have custody. They have full control of their coins if they want it. The third option is they get crypto, and we automatically convert it to something like a Tether or a stable coin. Why? When I talked to my family business about accepting crypto, they said no. Not yet. And I said, why? I need dollars. I need to pay my staff. I need to pay my suppliers in China. Why would I accept crypto? And they won't accept it. They don't understand what that is. The biggest problem right now with crypto, especially for places like the States, is everything else is accepted in fiat. But when you have countries like Venezuela start accepting crypto, they pay their employees in crypto. Their supply chain starts accepting crypto. And then somehow they get it converted outside, whether it's in Miami or somewhere else. So the reality is the huge opportunities in crypto are actually in emerging markets first. If you look at Africa, Africa went from not having any computers to having cell phones. Their whole economy is based on cell phones now, doing transactions and everything. This is what we truly believe in. This is also why we decided to headquarter in Romania. Romania is one of the 2nd largest country in Europe that is highly likely to accept crypto as a form of actual national currency. Okay? Turkey is number 1. Venezuela, definitely up there, right? But we're looking at Europe, right? All right, so EFIN. You know, at the end of the day, if you have your coins, they should be yours and always yours. So we're building a decentralized exchange. We think this is extremely important to have the right level of adoption to our infrastructure. TOKENSUISSE. We actually bought 10% of a company in Switzerland called TOKENSUISSE. This is our version of the ETFs of Europe. We have it already. People keep on talking about the US. We have it already. It's already there. They have it. So you can have certificates based on Bitcoin, all with custodial services, all there. It's not that difficult. Give them a call. It's really easy to set up. Token Escrow, we'll eventually start integrating that with our actual blockchain. So we have multi-signatures, and we'll start incorporating things like RSK. Entertainment and branding division, token gaming. How many people actually like to gamble? Nobody? Okay, all right. That's fine. I think a lot of people in Asia like to gamble, so that's a good market for us. So Token Gaming is an aggregator website where we have a bunch of games online, and basically you can start your own casino for a flat rate per month. CryptoBet, an actual full-on online casino, only crypto. You guys may be asking, how the hell are we doing all of this? We have partnerships and agreements with companies, basically CEOs running the entire business. So look at me as kind of like that Warren Buffett, right? We have this vision, we have this strategy. My job is to find amazing people that can build companies, build teams, and execute. If they don't execute, I'll find somebody else. That's basically my job. We also have a clothing apparel. Funny name, I know. It's a very funny name. But the domain name cost $8, so It was dropped a few times, believe it or not. Then you have eSports.io is actual huge opportunity with eSports. There's actually, the reality is, an eSports player may actually get paid more than a football player one day. I know it sounds hard to believe, but if somebody would have told you 15 years ago that there's this thing called Bitcoin, would you believe it? No. And I'm telling you right now, eSports is going to be huge. We want to be prepared for that, especially for the crypto space. The people division, we have this final one. It'll be probably more later of 2019, but the most important thing is for people to earn crypto. So recently, we've actually spent more than $1 million of our TokenPay to actually acquire domain names, a ton of domain names. And one of them was earner.com. Earn.com was just bought out by Coinbase for $150 million. Do you see what's going on? Do you see what's happening? Do you start to see the infrastructure that we're starting to build? This is important so that everything can start to come together. At the end of the day, everything is all centralized to that wallet, that mobile wallet. Right now, we only have an Android wallet, very simple wallet. Don't personally like it, because I want something better. I always want something better. If I was complacent, then that would not be a good thing, right? So we have our wallet. And I'll show you a video of what's going to look like soon. So when you go to our wallet in the future, you'll be able to buy crypto with a credit card. You'll be able to be a merchant and accept it as a POS. You'll be able to send crypto the same way you're sending it now, peer-to-peer. You'll be able to see a list of every single merchant that we have on our platform collecting crypto. Let's say you're walking around Spain and you're looking at a restaurant. You're going to look at our system, get a notification saying, hey, this Spanish restaurant on this street is accepting TokenPay. Why don't you go use your TokenPay? It's all about centralizing all of these things. And it's going to help because merchants are going to want to be on board with that. All businesses want free advertising. They all do. And at the end of the day, if you create this whole entire ecosystem, whether it's from one channel or another channel, all through the centralized app, that's where you're going to get that scale that you're looking for. So at the end of the day, this is what it's all about with the actual app. Financial needs, all in one tap, easy to use, multi-wallet. We'll have about 5 currencies integrated with our app. Everybody talks about the opportunities, don't really need to say much, but there's a lot of opportunities out there, especially with merchants. The only issue is it's going to take time. But as long as you have that infrastructure to make it easy for people to switch from one to the other, it's the only way it's going to work. As well as fees, we'll have one of the lowest fees in the industry. Why? Because we'll have full vertical integration of our infrastructure. If you own a piece of a bank, if you own an exchange, right? If you're able to have the mobile infrastructure already in place, you're able to offer better fees to the actual customer. And at the end of the day, everybody cares about fees. Again, why buy a bank? Let me ask, why do you think we bought one? Or why do you think TokenPay Suisse AG bought one? It's German, but not really, but okay. Good reply. Anybody else?
It's got to be pretty cool to own a bank.
Pretty cool to own a bank? Debit cards? Actually, you can find debit cards right now. We're talking to somebody right now as a stopgap solution, and that's not really it. But yes, you can control more of your debit card solution if you have. Anybody else? Get into the system. Which system? The Swiss system or the European system? Yes, more or less. More or less. The reality is, like I mentioned before, it's important to connect this old world to this new world. If you cannot connect, there's no way none of this adoption is going to happen. There's no way whatsoever, okay? But you may ask, why did we do Europe? Why? In our token sale, I don't know if anybody read our white paper, but our first white paper, the first bank that we were planning on buying is in Vanuatu. Anybody know where Vanuatu is? Yeah? I've never traveled there, but some people know. We were in a bidding war with another token sale. They won, and I asked them, why did you guys buy it? Our token sale holders required us to buy a bank, so we bought one. And we said, but we talked to the Vanuatu regulators for a month or two. They don't even know what Bitcoin is. Why did you buy this bank anyway? Because that's what our holders wanted. They can't do shit with that bank. There's a lot of fraud out there. I'm telling you right now. And there's a lot of people out there making really bad decisions just so they can say that they met their white paper so no regulator or any government official goes after them. In fact, they did have problems in their country for lying. And I'm telling you right now, every time we make a business decision, we're always looking for the long term. We're looking at what makes sense. Europe, believe it or not, is actually extremely progressive. You know your passports? You know the chip inside the passport? Do you know the European Union had that before the US did? I mean, you guys have to understand that Europe actually is pretty ahead of the curve. You know, we can say what we want to say about all different countries, but at the end of the day, there's people out there that have really, really amazing technology that we're not taking advantage of. So the European banking system is actually pretty good. In fact, the German law is actually pretty good in regards to banking. So there's a lot of opportunities. In fact, after TokenPay Suisse AG announced the stake in the bank, all of a sudden we started seeing more banks in Germany announce more services. We were ahead of the curve. We were already negotiating with this bank in December of last year. And you can see the talent, it's moving. It's moving. It's actually moving. I actually want to have a little story. I don't have that much time. I have 8 minutes. I was about to hire somebody, or I did hire actually somebody to be our CTO, just to show you the kind of fight and talent. The person was working on an e-commerce company for about 8 years. This company, e-commerce company, is growing 30% a year, 30 million euros a year. I offered him an amazing package, double his salary almost. Comes back a week later, basically says, Derek, I thank you very much for your package, but my employer actually raised my salary 150% and offered me stock and gave me a promotion. I said to him, listen, man, I don't play the game of matching salaries, but let me ask you something. How long did it take them to recognize your value? It's like, well, I've been working there for 3 years. It's like, it took me 3 days to realize your value. Do you want to be working on e-commerce when Amazon has already infiltrated the space for the past 15 years, or do you want to come work with us? What do you think he did? Okay, he came work for us. That was the whole point. So the talent's moving, the good talent's moving to blockchain, and it's starting to happen at an accelerating rate. And the beautiful thing is, it's not segregated, it's not part of only Silicon Valley. It's international. I've been all over the world. I've been to the Philippines, Singapore, China, Japan. It's global now. It is not just concentrated in Silicon Valley, and that's the beautiful thing about blockchain. That's what it's doing. So the name of the bank is called Wegg Bank. That's the stake of the bank that TokenPay Suisse AG purchased. This bank right now is actually just a simple mortgage bank that only provides loans to housing associations in Germany. The good thing is that we can build it from scratch. The bad thing is we have to build it from scratch. It's a lot of work, a lot of stuff to do. So this is basically what's going to start happening with the bank. Once we start integrating all of our infrastructure, the bank will be able to have the friendly debit cards, conversion to IBAN, collateral, fiat lending, as well as cold storage services. Everything I mentioned today, every single project will have Litecoin integrated in every single part of our vision. This is what we mean when we do strategic partnerships. We look at everything that Litecoin's doing, things like what Mike was doing with Zulu Republic. In fact, I actually got a developer to say, copy Mike's stuff. It's actually pretty good. Because the reality is, it's amazing stuff. It's amazing stuff that's being put out there. And at the end of the day, we have to all work together. But you know, if Litecoin, I mean, I respect Charlie. I respect all the stuff that's been going on. And at the end of the day, we have to work together. If not, we're not going to succeed in our global mission of making crypto something that we use every single day. Again, to conclude, this is our solution. Entire vertical financial infrastructure, obviously crypto-specific products, and we're just going to be more than just a bank. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it. All righty. Made it in time. I got 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Any questions? Go ahead.
Can you explain a little deeper about
The actual token?
Yeah.
What do you want to know exactly? I can go on for like hours.
Wait, is this working? Oh, I just wanted to know a little more about so you're going to have a few, 5 different currencies integrated, which is awesome. And then your specific one,
Yeah.
What is the advantage of using that within the app versus
Good question.
the other
I think actually transaction costs are actually really low. It's actually 0.0001 TPAY for every transaction, which means that even if our coin goes to $10,000 a coin, it's only $1. We don't have mining mafia controlling the prices. Did you know that, I'm not sure if you guys saw this, but when I was refunding Americans in January, you know we were paying $26 a transaction on Bitcoin? It was insane. I wish I would have didn't accept Bitcoin at that point. So one of them is transactions, the cost, the speed. If you've ever used our wallet, it's actually 2 seconds to actually receive it. It takes a few minutes to confirm. So that's an advantage for the merchants as well as for anybody that's using it. But if we look at the infrastructure, proof of stake definitely has really long-term benefits. And when you have people like Vitalik Buterin and Ethereum push it, it says something. And I think it's because he realizes the centralization of the mafia mining firms that are out there. And I hate to use that word, but there's a reality. That's why Bitcoin Cash came out. If it wasn't for Bitmain, Bitcoin Cash would never have existed. We can't have 10,000 forks of Bitcoin. I mean, it's pretty dumb. So I think what's going to set us apart, is really all the whole infrastructure that we're building. You understand? Actually, that's a good point. I think what it is could you have built all of this without just using Bitcoin? The answer is yes and no. If you look at it as we use the token sale as a vehicle to accomplish our mission. It's like, what's the difference between 3 e-commerce companies? One gets bootstrapped, one gets 5 million in funding, and one gets 100, right? You kind of want to be with the one that gets 100 per se, because you have a better shot, but it doesn't mean you'll succeed because Pets.com got a lot and they failed, right? So I think we have a great name. We're really good brand marketers at the end of the day. And when we put all this stuff together, I mean, all of these businesses alone could be a coin, if you think about it. But we decided to just have it with one coin, having a full out vision. That's kind of our mission. Any other questions? Go ahead.
Yes, when you actually want to have users, merchants convert to other coins, we're talking about them picking the coin they want to hold and you make that available, have that coin available in your wallet.
We want to make it available to their wallet.
That's pretty much.
Yeah, so the goal is we want to have ability for a merchant to decide if they want to have control or they don't want to have control. And if they do want to have control, then it goes to their wallet. They'll have that option. I believe in having options. It's just got to be easy. You can't have 50 options, but we're going to have about 4 or 5. So one of the reasons when you have the bank account is one of the options will be Bitcoin to Euro straight to my Wegg Bank account, right? So every merchant's going to be different. I would guarantee you that 90-something% of merchants today will probably have it converted to their currency of their choice, because it just doesn't make any sense now. But eventually, if a business came to me and said, I have no problem taking 1% of my revenues and keep it in crypto, that's great. But usually that business owner is young, right? But somebody that's been around for 50 years in business, they can't. They have way too many obligations. They have debt, all that stuff. So the goal is to be able to have that flexibility for them, custodial or non-custodial. Okay? That's what TOKENSUISSE is for, actually. They have custodial services, and we can use companies like BitGo as well to handle that as well.
When do you estimate the time of completion for the different things you're trying to?
Good question. The gaming section will actually be finished sometime this month, next month. We're actually waiting for a license in QUORA. If we want to have different licenses for the gaming, we have to pay more. It's like $600,000 for one in Malta or Isle of Man to be able to go after different markets. The merchant services will be launched probably the end of this year, and the actual wallet will probably launch a very early version of the wallet, just a simple version of the wallet, just so we can get merchants to start using our wallet. And then basically every 2 weeks to every month, we'll start rolling a bunch of these features. So the final version of our wallet will probably be finished sometime by the mid of next year.
And then do you already have a lot of clientele interested in it, talking to you about it, that you're already lined up for it to be integrated?
Yes. And it's going to start ramping up soon. Once we have a good solid day from my tech team, like this is more or less the date that we're going to go, then we'll go all out. But with all of these businesses, we're going to have affiliate programs to get everybody to be interested in joining and helping us grow. What we saw from our token sale was the decentralization of customer service. where people were actually helping others because they were helping them like buy Bitcoin to participate in our token sale. So we really want to help the community. So we have 16,000 people on Telegram, and we're going to tell, listen, there's other ways for you to grow with us as we grow. So we want to have that. Go ahead. I think it's the last question. I have like 3 seconds left.
Since you guys bought a bank, do you guys see yourselves, like opening up different types of financial services? Like you say that, these merchants need to revert back to fiat to, pay off their debt. But since you guys own a bank, why can't you guys maybe, I don't know, buy off that debt,
Who says we can't?
I didn't say you guys.
Yeah.
Wondering,
no, yeah, of course. I mean, I can't show all my cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do have plans for that, obviously. It's just, we got to go through step 1, step 2, step 3, and eventually we'll start integrating all of this. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this bank becomes really successful that we'll get an offer from some big bank to acquire it. No doubt in my mind, because it's like, why did Walmart buy Jet.com? Does anybody know why? Anybody? No? So Walmart bought Jet.com, and the main reason why they bought it was because of the tech team and the infrastructure that they built. Because Walmart had an old legacy e-commerce system, and Jet had a really, really good modern one. And also the guy who started Jet worked at Amazon, right? Same reason why Facebook bought WhatsApp. They didn't have a messenger system, so they bought WhatsApp to basically integrate it. So eventually, if you start a bank from scratch, build up the infrastructure, have a certain niche clientele, eventually all of these banks want to diversify their portfolio of businesses that they own and start looking at potential acquisitions. So it's not that we're looking for that. It just means that there's going to be obviously competition. They're going to see what's going on. And we're not going to be the first. I mean, there's going to be definitely a lot more banks doing stuff like this. So any more questions? There's a lot of questions. I can be here all day answering questions, by the way.
You said earlier that you bought the bank to get into the system, meaning the Swift system?
It's German. It's European Union, yeah. Swift. What? Actually, Germany hates Swift. I don't know if you know that. Yeah, they don't even like Swift. They've been publicly talking about hating it, so they're very pro crypto. But just like any country, they're going to be very cautious about how that gets integrated and how it starts to infiltrate the system. But Germany is a fantastic jurisdiction because it's kind of like they're kind of the boss in Europe, right? Whatever Germany says eventually goes for the rest of the countries, right? So we looked at buying a bank in Liechtenstein and Switzerland, but it's a little complicated. I'll give somebody else another chance. I know you have 5,000 questions. Go ahead.
Well, actually, just to interject, we do have time now, so we've got a 30-minute break. So if you are willing to want to stay and ask a question, just let you know there is a break now, but I will let you continue and ask as many questions as you want. So otherwise, we continue back here at 2:30. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi there. Thank you. Does this German bank accept crypto? Does this German bank accept crypto startups looking for a legacy bank account?
The what? Sorry.
This German bank.
Yeah.
Does it already accept crypto startups looking for a legacy bank?
By the end of this year, it will.
By the end of this year. Thank you.
Some of us that came late, what does TokenPay do? Your capital base, you're doing a lot of stuff, great vision.
Yeah. Where's my capital base? You mean like where our headquarters are? Or? Oh, we did a token sale, did about $20-something million. Yeah. I know Charlie hates ICOs and token sales, but we're actually real and hiring people and doing real stuff with it. So yeah, we started with a good amount. Go ahead. Yeah, eventually we will. In fact, we've been talking to other people to do our own version of it, just because there's always some issue with other people's as well. So yeah, the answer is yes. We are planning on doing hardware wallets, but we want to get this off first, and eventually once we get the adoption, we'll get it out there to start doing more hardware stuff. Yeah. Go ahead.
You said there were 5 coins, but I've heard 3. What are the other?
Oh, so it's Bitcoin, Litecoin, EFIN, TokenPay, Verge. Yeah, that's 5 for now. And we'll keep it that way for a while. Any other questions? Hold on, I'll get you. Any other questions? Go ahead.
You're integrating into the legacy system in Europe. Are there plans for integrating legacy files into that
It's a very, very good question. We had a secret operation called Operation Idaho, which is to look into a US bank. It's actually cheaper to buy a US bank than a European bank. Only problem was it's a bit of a process. You have to look at opportunities and you have to look at low-hanging fruit. And Germany is right next to Turkey, right next to Romania, and right next to a lot of countries that always have a little bit of issues with governments and financial problems. If there's any other bank opportunity, I'd probably look at Latin America, because I do believe there's going to be a little bit of a contagion effect after Venezuela. So the reality is US, although it's the biggest market, there's not really an actual real need for merchants to accept crypto unless they're trying to accept payments from international customers, or they're buying cars and they're trying to import it and all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, a bank in the US you can buy for $3 million. It just takes like another 4 million or 3 million to fix it up, and you have to deal with all the regulations, which is another process. So it's in the plans, just we got to focus on one country or one territory first, and we'll go to the next. Yeah?
If you have a fiat gateway,
sure.
For the purchase of your bank in Europe, strategically, why do you need to get additional banks in the US or South America?
No, you're right, you don't. Right. If you have a gateway, why do you need to have other banks? The answer is no, you don't, right? But if you want to have a presence, and you have to understand as well that some countries, they really want to know that the bank is in their country or pretty close to it, and they actually want to maybe potentially visit it. Look at Revolut, right? Revolut is a huge company in Europe. Anybody know what Revolut is? Yeah? Yeah. So Revolut is an online bank. That's basically going to be our somewhat level of a competitor, right? There's no branches, nothing, online. Basically get a bank account within minutes. That's kind of what we need to be doing with our banking infrastructure as well as with crypto. But yeah, you're right. I mean, you can technically do all of that. As long as the KYC and AML procedures for accepting people in all those countries works, it's fine. But eventually, if you want to have a branch, right? Because you can buy a bank from somewhere else, rebrand it to the same bank in Europe, and say, at least we have a location. Some countries, you actually need to be there physically to interact with the people, because if not, they'll never really understand like what's available to them. So, but again, we haven't bought a bank somewhere else yet, so it's not an issue. Any more? We're good? All right, thanks a lot for your time, guys. Appreciate it.